James Lynch, Galway, New Jersey. I was a former project manager with the County Union a few years back, and there was one particular job that just, really bothered me the whole time there, and I feel like now it's finally time to kind of get it off my chest. It was, I think you guys know what it was too. It was the Meisel Park project, which was a very expensive project for the county. Ultimately cost probably in a couple of $1 million range. What bothered me about it right from the beginning was that our original consultant with it was a company called Matrix, and they had hired, after looking at a little problem with a fuel oil tank there, had run into the arsenic problem, and saw that with some of their soil work. And they went ahead and got a very reputable Rutgers University team who basically came back in their statement, it's a public record, we have it at the county, that the arsenic problem was a direct response to the town of Springfield applying a sewage sludge product that contained trace arsenic in it for the last excuse me, about 20 years, which caused the arsenic problem there. So I thought to myself, why is the county cleaning up Springfield's problem for that? Here Rutgers comes right out and says it was from the sewage sludge issue. So I figured we just kind of see how all this goes, and then shortly thereafter, the contract was taken from Matrix and given to PMK, a company that we're all familiar with, who eventually became part of the Birdsall company. During that transition time, DEP had contacted me as the project manager and said, you don't need to get rid of all this arsenic either. It was put on there by this sewage sludge. We take off the first couple of inches, and we're good to go. But the sixth floor said, well, we don't really want a deed restriction here. We want this all cleaned out completely. The site was contaminated. There was going to be a deed restriction anyway. It was, if we all recollect, it was a former industrial plant, and we'll always probably have a deed restriction. So that really didn't add up to me either. You know what I mean? It just, something was wrong here. I talked to the county engineer at the time, Bruce Connor, and when PMK took over, he became very nervous about the whole project as well. He was very upset and started keeping his own private records. He was so worried about the potential for something looking improper here with, hauling soil. We were already at that. We were out to bid, on the numbers for the soil now to take it, but that's not really a professional services agreement, is it, to just haul soil, contaminated soil? That would have been a biddable project, but it wasn't, and PMK got the complete job there. So I mean, this is just still, this is bothering me. Now we're in a new phase of the project, and we find out that there's water contamination, and these are dry cleaning chemicals. Of course, they're not related at all to the arsenic and where are they coming from, but PMK wants to do this investigation for hundreds of thousands of dollars to investigate where this is all coming from, and something didn't look right on here either. Like where could this be coming from? Now there was a sewer line with a siphon coming through the park, and this sewer line, I kept asking him, we got to test this line. Siphons are notorious leakers. when these siphons go underneath the brooks, there's always problems there. And the hot well was right next to where the siphon was, where we were getting the highest numbers of this. So they didn't want to do it, really. I just had to keep, I went to my, my assistant engineer and my county engineer, and we got to get them to pull a sample here. But we just didn't want to pull a sample for some reason. So finally I'm out there with the tech guy. I said, pull a sample out of this sewer right now. And you know what? They pulled it, and it was hot as hell. All full of these dry cleaning chemicals. Of course, when we trace back, there's 3 dry cleaning chemicals, dry cleaners on the line in Springfield, there on Mountain Avenue. So, like, here's PMK, like, all these investigations, and we're spending, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now we're over $1 million, where the soil's being removed. Then PMK, gets the contract to rebuild the park as well. Wow. Man, they're just.
I need you to wrap up your comment.
I'll wrap it up when the time's ready.
Your time is up.
Is it up?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Please.
Okay, so you've heard of like pump and dump schemes, right? They were the penny stock things. Well, here's PMK gets sold to Birdsall. But of course, their numbers are determined, and those principals are going to do well as these numbers of these different contracts go up and up. Of course, their principals are going to get something based on. Where was the quid pro quo here? I mean, what was going on here? It turns out it looks like it's a $2 million taxpayer ripoff. We spend it over, almost $2 million with the water or the soil here. For what? I mean, the arsenic came from the Milorganite sewage sludge. Rutgers gave us the report. The other's from the dry cleaners. Why did the taxpayers, do you do that for all the towns, or was it just Springfield? Okay, I'm going to wrap it up now, too, And here's something interesting, too. The fact that this was such hot stuff and everybody was so worried about it. Well, go check up at Hudai right now in our quarry. Some of that topsoil with all that arsenic is sitting up there right now. It's sitting there. It's piled up there. That's been operated as an illegal landfill for years. And somebody's using it to cap that stuff up there. Stuff went up there. Okay?
Thank you very much for your comments.
Well, the comment's going to actually Paul McDowell at the Attorney General's office here in New Jersey.